Well, welcome to Hangman Tarot. We're going to get started here in just a minute. First, hit subscribe to Hangman Tarot. Go ahead and click the bell. My name is Jordan. I am Hangman Tarot. We're going to get into your celebrity reading. So today, I think I'm on my fourth one. I've decided to go into a reading for personal reasons. I was a huge fan of the Judds when I was growing up. It was something that brought my mom and my sister and I all together. So that is one of the first things I remember ever singing even. I grew up in Sheridan and it was very country, and that's just what we listened to. We sang. I mean, I was just always listening to it and hearing it in the kitchen when my mom was cooking. I mean, these are certain specific memories that go very, very deep. So when I heard NAOMI Judd committed suicide and had passed away, I was extremely shook. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, holy shit, like that's a big thing. That's like a big deal. I am going to go over a few things. I'm going to get into a reading for somebody who has passed. We're going to find out about looking back on kind of how they seen things and maybe from their perspective and what the cards can bring up, and a lesson that they hope they kind of left behind. So we'll just get into some cards, some tarot cards about the person who has passed, and it's going to be a pretty quick reading. I don't like to I don't like hanging out on these readings very long because I don't know. I just don't. Anyway, so I'm going to get into her astrology first, and then we will do an oracle card, and I will confirm that with a tarot reading and get into her reading. So we are going to get started. 34. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go over NAOMI Judd's astrology right now. She was born January 11th, 1946. So she goes way back. She was born at 6:45 p.m. in Ashland, Kentucky. She was a singer. She was a songwriter. She was a mama. She was a friend. She was a wife. She was a Taurus moon sign, and her sun sign was Capricorn. Her ascending was Leo. So a lot of not surprising things about that. In 1983, she and her daughter Wyona formed the duo known as the Judds, and they became very successful through country music and the association awards. The Judds actually stopped performing in 91 after Naomi, was diagnosed with hepatitis. So while Wyona continued to perform as a solo artist, she occasionally would reunite with her mother for tours as the Judds. NAOMI struggled with mental health issues throughout her life and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound on April 30th, 2022, the day before the duo were inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. So, pretty crazy. It was, anyway. So Ashley Judd is her other daughter. So Wyona and Ashley. Ashley's the actress and Wyona is the musician. They announced her death in a statement on April 30th, and quotes from her would be, "Today, we sisters experienced in tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness." The statement said, "We are shattered. We are navigating profound grief and know that as we loved her, she was loved by her public. We are in an unknown territory." The statement did not elaborate any further. They were actually going to be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame on Sunday, and they had just announced an arena tour to begin in the fall too. And the first tour together in like over a decade. So they hadn't actually toured for like years. And they had made a return to the award show when they performed at the CMT Music Awards earlier that month. The Judds' hits included "Love Can Build a Bridge," lovely song. In 1990, "Mama, He's Crazy." I sing that one in karaoke. I don't really sing karaoke unless I had a beer, and I don't drink anymore, so it doesn't happen often. In 1984, "Why Not Me?" That was a song my sister loved. And "Turn It Loose." All three of us would jam out to that song in Girls' Night Out. "Rockin' with the Rhythm of the Rain," and "Grandpa," which made you feel like you had a grandpa even if you didn't. So I grew up with these women singing in my home and in the vehicles I would travel in. It's crazy. So I'm sure anybody who knows who the Judds are, you're feeling my nostalgia and you're feeling the pain and the sadness of the situation. Okay, so I'm just going to get a couple oracle cards here. Just doing an energy read off the last breath. Okay, just kind of the last moments, the last hours, the last days, just kind of like energy wise where we were, if we could go back in time. Got chills already. Goosebumps everywhere. Here we go. Yeah, she had travel coming up, so that would make sense. There was travel coming up. Movement, there was action, there was things happening as far as like in her career. So there was definitely some sort of travel that was happening. Relocating for, your music stuff is definitely not unheard of. And happiness in reverse. So we had no happiness in these last moments with Naomi. So Naomi struggling there with, a very unhealthy feeling of no freedom. So feeling as if you're caged in, lack of freedom, feeling as if you don't have any space, any room. And this is something that was her destiny, was to find a way into the happiness. It was find a way into freedom and adventure. Those are things that come along in her birth path. Those are things that she was supposed to be, learning, and karmically, she was supposed to be on a path to get to. Okay. So she was not there was no happiness there. There was a caged feeling, and definitely movement or travel still. There was still travel, could even be travel to another realm. So those are the oracle cards, and we will confirm that with tarot cards. Let's get more into this. Finding out what we can with Naomi Judd, what the universe will allow us to know. Moments, days, hours. Okay, here we go. Queen of Swords. We have our Tower upright. 8 of Wands in reverse. So there was definitely some external and internal disruption. There was change. There was a fate here. This is fate. This is fate. There was a fate. There was change happening, and it was going to happen no matter what. Okay. So nothing is ever secure, especially when there's supposed to be some sort of a change within the future, or some sort of change within the fortune or karmically. It's just like the disruption and the things that are fated is at nobody's hands. Okay. There was definitely a change in fortune, though, for all of them. But specifically with Naomi, there was a restricted, caged in type of feeling. So with this 8 of Wands in reverse, it's just indicating to me that the progress, or, kind of taking her time or taking control within her life was very, very restricted. Okay. So moving with that time, moving with anything that was restricted or roadblocked, or bringing herself into any kind of place of progress it was fucked. I mean, there was roadblocks. And you couldn't change her. Queen of Swords. She had good instincts, and she was extremely independent. And as far as restraint, this was something that she could not deal with anymore. the restraint of life, the destiny, the challenges, the experiences, the overall non-adventure of it, which that was her calling, was adventure. So I mean, you could imagine enjoying anything here. She enjoyed all sorts of things. She enjoyed conversation. She enjoyed a clear connection with another human being. She understood that there was conflict in her life. She understood that there was illness within her, and there was mental process illness, and there was also physical illness. But again, with the good instincts, she was pretty prepared, and throughout her entire life, trying to maneuver through that. And it's just, again, you cannot change things sometimes after like trauma or after violence or growing up, being told specific things, or growing up around rigid people. She definitely was not talking it out. She couldn't talk it out. That's normally what she would have done. Let's look back on how she sees it. How does she see this when she looks back on it? What just happened? Her passing. Okay. So 10 of Cups reversed, 9 Wands reversed, 2 Cups reversed. So there was a relationship that worked really, really well. And there was a lot of high movement. There was a lot of high moments even. And it was almost like there was not a lot of things that she had to force, but there was something going on as far as a connection. And it was almost like, if you looked really closely, these cards are indicating that there was definitely an issue. There was an issue that was unaddressed. There was an issue with the emotion that was being repressed within the situation. Now, this could have been with a fire sign or a water sign, Sagittarius or Cancer in specific. Could even be a Pisces in specific. But the issues kept growing and growing and growing, and her negative thoughts kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, with the 10 of Cups in reverse, there was no closure for this, and the help was making no justice. It wasn't adding to the situation. It wasn't aiding her. There was no peace. And she was never happy, even though peace was there for her always. Something about that, she couldn't get to it. Nine of Wands in reverse, giving up. She was normally very stubborn, risk taker, She could have, adventure was a thing. It was just, and taking a little risk here and there. As far as a long-term plan, it was done. And she was defensive, and she was being hasty, and there was a lot of mistrust. And that had a lot to do with the relationship that she was around at the time too. So some sort of relationship was adding to it. Okay. No forgiveness. She didn't feel forgiven. She felt like she felt like she was an inconvenience. No matter how much she addressed anything. She could have healed you with her hands, but she felt like a burden in these moments. What is the lesson that she is hoping that she left behind? Let's find that out. Let's get into this. Something uplifting, hopefully get into something a little bit different than those. This is a hard reading. Okay, so we got the Magician, the Devil, and we also have our 10 of Swords. That is in reverse, okay? There's more than a few major arcana cards, so this is like one of those pivotal moments, just a moment that turns her life on or off, notably. If she were to, like within these cards, it's just expressing that the lessons that she hoped that she left is that freedom is letting go of all of your own negative thinking. Freedom is letting go of, the deception of what other people think or the deception of what society brings to your plate. Clearly to relax. She wants you to relax. She was tense sometimes, and not all the time, but she wanted to be able to relax into almost into just kind of like, it was almost like she was obsessed with like managing or being tense, or like it was just like there was an obsession here when it comes to allowing herself a little bit of open adventure. Okay. But she wants a lesson that can be learned here to be that the worst is over. Okay. At this point, she hit rock bottom and she was not able to recover. But the lesson that she wants you to learn is that you can recover from this. Okay. 10 of Swords in reverse, that you can get into a closure. You can get into a place where no, it's not easy, but yes, you can get back up. You can get back up. And she was determined. She was very intuitive. She was focused. She manifested pretty much everything that she did. She was the magician energy. She was capable of anything. She had every fucking tool. She had focus. She had focus on life. She was ready. She was always like, this is new beginning. This is it. This is a start. And she just kept trying to do that and do that and do that. And it's like, no matter how much of a magician energy that you have, like no matter how crazy, cool, talented, bomb diggity that you are, you can get into these places where you hit rock bottom. And she wants to leave this lesson that you can heal and you can recover. Okay. But there was too much to break through at this point, and something added to it. It wasn't just alone in the mind. It was something probably added to it for sure. I feel like that. That's what I feel like. Last couple cards. Queen of Pentacles reverse, the Moon. Lastly, you cannot love yourself any less if you are to love others in a big way. Self-care is always required. Make sure to check in with your mental health always, and always ask or reach out for help. Or if you notice any fucking tiny little detail about somebody who is off, and you can't know, you don't no longer see the actual person, or there's new added things, or they seem depressed or sad or bummed out unusually, just please reach out to them. The insecurity here, she lost touch with the whole picture. Okay. There was a lot of things that were hidden underneath the surface that we were not aware of. Okay. And it brought dredge. It brought a lot of non-love. It was too much to bear. There was some dishonesty too. Dishonesty for sure. But that's the least of the situation. She was an amazing soul. She's an amazing soul. She's a soul. She's in the realm. There was just no solution. No solution here. She felt like, even in life, it was overworked. Not just the job, but she felt like there was, she felt very passive even when, these new things were coming up. She felt very passive about it. She wasn't like eager. The indulging in it. It just, no. She had a great insecurity though. A lot of anxieties. She couldn't relax really. Even though, we're not looking at being relaxing, but sleeping because you're depressed is not the same thing. Just self-care could have been, you can take care of yourself. You can get, help. You can get into a place where you're loving yourself. If you cannot love yourself though, it's like, you cannot love the world. I mean, in and out, it's a reflection, but I mean, nobody would have known, but she did. And that is the end of that reading. I'm going to come to an end on that. It's exhausting. I'm very, very sad for her and her family, her and her daughters. Much love to you all. I hope that everything works out accordingly and you all can just relax. relax and breathe and just remember the good memories about your mother. Please, if you know anybody or you see signs or you feel signs of ending life, please reach out to somebody. Even if you need to reach out to me, my comments, or any of this social media platforms, please go ahead and do so. I am going to give some suicide prevention information in the details below also. Again, it's speak out about it. Don't be quiet about it. Don't ever be quiet about suicide. That is not, quiet is what kills. So please just shout it out, especially if you need some help. Other than that, please go ahead and hit subscribe to Hangman Tarot if you would, please and thank you. Other than that, I hope that you all enjoy the rest of your evening and be safe and stay happy.